It's time for the latest in the world of K-Sports. And for that, we're joined by our sportscaster, Jason Lee, in the studio. Welcome back, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We just made a quick trip to the past in that Nanjido short form video where we saw the World Cup. And there was a mentioning of the 2002 FIFA World Cup. But now we're already in year 2026, and we're going to talk about the 2026 World Cup. So probably we're going to have a preview of that. But what else are you going to talk about today?
Yeah, well, of course, also, Lee Jung-hoo had a 15-game hitting streak going into the games this morning. I'll update his streak. Plus, the second LPGA major of the year, two Koreans were in the top 5. I'll give details on their story, but obviously, we're going to have a lot of World Cup talk.
Okay, then let's start with the obvious World Cup preview. So we're going to have Team Korea is going to have the first game on Friday, 11 a.m. Korea time against the Czech Republic. So what's the latest?
Well, you know, it's time is the line that's used by Bruce Buffer to start off the main event at UFC events. And we are now just a few sleeps away from the main event kicking off in Mexico. So let's start by looking back at the two most recent matches for South Korea. Of course, they had exhibition matches in which they routed Trinidad and Tobago 5-0 before edging El Salvador just 1-0. But both games, Korea was in complete control for much of the games, although Korea didn't get their deciding goal against El Salvador until the 57th minute on a free kick by Lee Dong-kyung. But they still dominated that game, 7-0 in shots on goal. 15-3 in shots attempted, and they had time of possession, 72% advantage. So they have been playing very well in both of those games. I think, you know, it shows positive signs. They're playing with confidence, which is very good. If there's anything interesting to report from those two games, what I found interesting is that Hong Myung-bo basically used two completely different starting lineups. And I would say neither of those were remotely close to what he'll probably go with against the Czech Republic on Friday or Thursday, depending on where you're watching. I'd say that's a little bit odd because I think most teams going into a game this big, this important, you probably want to put your best ideal lineup together just before that upcoming game. So Hong Myung-bo, I would say, did not do that until in his most recent game against El Salvador. I think it shows maybe from his perspective a lot of confidence that his team is going to be able to gel together. You could also say maybe he doesn't want to tip his hand in terms of showing the Czech Republic what his team's going to look like.
Right.
Right. And speaking of these exhibition matches, I've noticed as Sony's biggest fan that he was wearing number 13 instead of his usual number, which is number 7. So is there a reason for that?
Yeah, well, I guess he went from lucky number 7 to unlucky number 13. I don't know.
And the game is even on Friday.
Oh, yeah. It's not Friday the 13th, however.
Yes.
So, but certainly, it's going to be very interesting. And this is a strategy that's employed by a lot of soccer coaches around the world. And what they're basically trying to do is they're trying to wear different numbers for their top players so that they can confuse the other team. Because sometimes, you know, coaches before big tournaments in the World Cup, opposing coaches, they're going to tell their players, okay, watch out for number 7. That's Son Heung-Min. We got to have 2 guys on him. Or watch out for number 11, Hwang Hee-chan. He's got a good right foot shot. So, you know, stay on his right foot, make him go to his left foot, you know, sort of thing. So they're going to coach their players to watch for certain players in a certain way. But you know what people say? Well, everyone looks the same when you know, different races are looking at each other. So perhaps it's just about, well, that's number this. It's number rather than knowing a person by face and, you know, their name. So in this sense, it's a strategy that's employed by a lot of coaches. And I think you'll probably see for the rest of the tournament, all the players kind of playing with different numbers from what they were playing in the exhibition games. And I think the other thing that you could say is it's maybe a disadvantage to the viewer. For us, I'll be the first to admit that's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, that's how much more annoying it is for the players on the other team as well.
Right.
Whatever it takes to take the win, it's okay.
Exactly.
But let's not go too much into the details of the numbers. We don't want to reveal too much to the global audience there. But Jason, what we can do is you could give us your expectations on the starter lineup, because you did mention that the Czech Republic game against the Czech Republic is going to be different from the previous exhibition games.
In my opinion. So once again, I mean, Hong Myung-bo's making the lineup. From what I would do, which I think will be pretty close to what Hong Myung-bo would do, I think obviously you'll have Son Heung-Min as your striker up top. Midfielders, I think we're looking at Lee Gang-in, we're looking at Hwang Hee-chan, Lee Jae-sung, Hwang In-bum, and I would say Jens Kastrup as a defensive midfielder. The back three, expect Kim Min-jae, Lee Gi-hyuk, and Lee Han-bum. Of course, Cho Gu-sung was injured. He is not going to be able to play. He actually flew back to Korea, so Korea will be missing him on the back line. But I think that's the defense. In goal, I think it's going to be interesting because I would go with Jo Hyun-woo. I think he's the better shot blocker. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Kim Sung-gyu got in there for a game or two, because he might not be as good at blocking shots, but he's better with the ball with his feet. And I think Hong Myung-bo has been kind of splitting both of them in the exhibitions leading up to the World Cup.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen.
Right, and we got to know our opponents. So please tell us about Czech Republic, what you expect from them as well.
Well, the Czech Republic is not a pushover team. This is supposed to be the fourth seed in the group, because they went through the back door, the long way, because they didn't do well in the European group originally. So they had to play their way in. They're currently ranked 41st, so significantly behind Korea. But I would say that this is a very dangerous team. Their biggest threat is Patrick Schick, who is the striker for Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. The one positive I would say for Korea is, though, that, of course, Kim Min-jae, Korea's center back, who, of course, plays for Bayern Munich, is going to be very familiar with Schick's tendencies because he's the quarterback of Korea's back line. He can not only play him better defensively, but he can also tell his defenders how they need to play players like that. So information from Kim Min-jae is key. The other players to watch for on the Czech side will be Thomas Souček, who is a tall midfielder, 192 centimeters.
Wow.
His 41 goals in the Premier League are the most by a Czech player, so he's going to be very dangerous, especially when it comes to corner kicks and set pieces. He's going to be very difficult to watch. I think another reason that I like Jo Hyun-woo, and that he's a little bit taller, he's got more vertical to get up there to punch the ball away if he's going up against a player like that in a corner kick situation. One other player I'm going to mention is Pavel Suchy, who is a creative midfielder. He plays for Lyon in the French league. So another player to watch for, kind of a creative player, maybe like an Lee Jae-sung type of guy. In terms of Korea, I would say the Czech Republic, or like Korea, the Czech Republic have won their last two exhibition games, 3-1 over Guatemala, as well as 2-1 over Kosovo, going into Friday's game at 11 a.m. So this is going to be a very good, interesting match. If I'm going to make a prediction, I would say Korea 2-1. And this is going to be an important game because Mexico are the hosts of the tournament. They're in Mexico's group. That's going to be a tough game to win. So if they want to finish at least second in the group, they have to win this game on Friday.
Okay, then I'm going to say 2-0 for Korea.
2-0, all
What
right.
about you, Bella?
I mean, I was going to say 2-1 because hearing those lineup for Czech, I mean, I feel like they will make us shoot. So 2-1, I would go with Jason. And your prediction are pretty good too.
I was just hoping having like 3 different combinations.
I mean, I could do 3-2 or 3-1, but Korea wins definitely. Korea wins definitely for sure.
Let's see what happens on Friday. And we're going to talk about the game next week with you, Jason.
Yes.
But we're not done yet. We're going to go into baseball. And you mentioned Lee Jung-hoo had a 15-game hitting streak. And did he reach 16?
Well, his first at-bat, he did not get a hit. His next 4 at-bats, he got hits. He was 4 for 5 today, so yes, he does extend his hitting streak to 16 games. And let me tell you, about this 16-game hitting streak right now that he is. It's an absolute heater. He's hitting 508 on this hitting streak right now. That is absolutely ridiculous. 7 of those games in the 16-game streak, he has had multi-hits. And of those 7 multi-hit games, 4 of them have included at least 4 hits, including this morning. He is now batting .333 on the season. That is second best in all of Major League Baseball. He only trails Otto Lopez, who is currently hitting .336. So Lee Jung-hoo, I mean, who knows? Maybe by tomorrow he could be the #1 batter in all of baseball. He has been absolutely ridiculous as of late.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing to hear. And briefly, could you please tell us about how the other Korean baseball players are doing in MLB?
That's another story. Unfortunately, everyone else is not doing as well as Lee Jung-hoo. Kim Hae-sung, he was actually recently demoted down to AAA again by the LA Dodgers, which is just crazy because he was still hitting .259 in the majors. But that's just what it's like to be on the LA Dodgers. He'd probably be a major leaguer on 29 other teams, but this is the team that he chose to play for. He actually took less money to play for the Dodgers. Now, he actually originally signed a 3-year contract with LA, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen or anything, but I would be interested to wonder, at the least, if he might be a guy that other teams might be interested for the August 3rd trade deadline. I think he can certainly help other teams rather than playing in AAA in LA's minor league system. So we'll see what happens. Kim Ha-sung, oh boy, he has been struggling big time since being activated from the injury list. He is actually batting under 100 at just .096. He's actually been sitting out a lot of the games as well. He's been benched for guys like Mauricio Dubon and Jorge Mateo, who actually have been hitting a lot better. So kind of unfortunate. One last thing I'll mention about baseball, however, is you know how much I love talking about Kim Do-young. So he continues to lead the KBO in home runs with 18 on the season. This is over 60 games. So he is actually on pace to get to 43 home runs, and he, of course, hit 38 in his career breakout season a couple of years ago, so he is on pace for an outstanding year.
All right, and Jason, just very quickly, you have some LPGA updates as well?
Yes, we had 2 top 5 finishers in both Kim Se-young finishing 5th and Chun In-ji finished 4th at the LPGA's U.S. Women's Open, respectively. 4th and 5th place, not bad.
Okay, sounds great. And we're going to talk about the World Cup next week because you're going to come in next week again. So
absolutely.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you.
No problem.
And thanks, Bella, as always. We're going to have you back here soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon.